I want to read to y'all some pretty interesting literary pertaining to religion and the hidden design of the earth. Religious iconography. Religious iconography is the visual imagery and symbolism associated with specific religious traditions, which conveys spiritual meanings and narratives. It often includes figures, objects, and scenes that represent divine concepts, saints, and sacred stories, helping to communicate complex theological ideas through accessible imagery. This term is key in understanding how various art forms can embody cultural beliefs and values, particularly in symbolic portraiture and iconographic analysis. All right, reading the second verse. Evaluate the role of religious iconography in contemporary art practices and its impact on cultural perceptions of spirituality. In contemporary art practices, religious iconography plays a multifaceted role by both preserving traditional symbols and offering new interpretations that reflect current societal issues. Artists may have repurposed classic icons to critique or comment on modern spiritual experiences, which can challenge viewers' preconceived notions of faith. This recontextualization not only revitalizes interest of spiritual themes, but also provokes dialogue about the evolving nature of belief system in today's diverse cultural landscape. All right. The symbol, religious and other, is intended primarily for the circle of the initiated and involves the acknowledgement of the experience that it expresses. The symbol is not, however, kept hidden in meaning to some extent. It even has a revelatory character. It goes beyond the obvious meaning for those who contemplate its depths. Wow. It indicates the need for communication and yet conceals the details and innermost aspects of its contents. Heaven and earth in the icon. Now, let's get interesting. Now you see the symbolism of this circle mentioned and people ascending outside of this circle. Now I'm showing you how this circle represents Antarctica 360 ice wall. We could say as a basic general truth, though there are always exceptions, that the icon is organized as a letter, and by its flat depiction of a hierarchical space shows us what is meant by heaven and earth, shows us why we say God is in heaven and why we say hell is in the earth. Some might find I am multiplying words to state the obvious, but this is why I need to remind the reader once again of our schizophrenic cosmology. This is why I need to remind the reader that most of us, most of the time, live in a world where TV satellites and jet planes are in the heavens, and we have ceased to see how the visible heavens are the image of invisible spiritual truth. The icon does what modern science cannot do. That is, the icon does not attempt to give a technical description of a space and movement we cannot experience without complex idealizations and sense-increasing machines. Rather, it shows us the meaning, the reason of our most immediate human experience. Wow, that's pretty heavy. Now, let's get into these domes that I've been highlighting and showing y'all. Yes, domes in Christian churches are often used as a symbol of heaven. The circle shape of a dome represents eternity, while the apex of the dome points to the heavens. The symbolic meaning of the dome has developed over millennia. Although the precise origins are unknown, a mortuary tradition of domes existed across the ancient world, as well as a symbolic association with the sky. Both of these traditions may have a common root in the use of the dome hut, a shape which was associated with the heavens and translated into tombs. The mortuary tradition has been expressed in tomb mausolea, martyria, and baptisteries. The celestial symbolism was adopted by rulers in the Middle East to emphasize their divine legitimacy and was inherited by later civilizations down to the present day as a general symbol of governmental authority. Symbolism, Holy Lands, and medieval art. Domes. Symbolism refers to the architectural, artistic use of domes to convey spiritual and cosmic meanings, often representing the heavens or divine presence. In religious architect, particularly in Christian and Islamic contexts, domes serve as a physical and metaphorical connection between the earthly and the divine, symbolizing the universe encompassing nature and the presence of God above. Settle out there. Heaven is round, earth is square. The earth is square and heaven is round. Like earth and heaven themselves, these geometrical symbols scale to different levels of the hierarchy. The circle and square correspond symbolically to heaven and earth, soul and body, spiritual realm and material realm. The earth is square because it is a plane that spreads in four directions and it is matterably stable. Heaven is round because it has an infinite amount of sides and contains the potential, the seed, for all other shapes. So these are temples of patriarchal men who are compelled to tell the truth because symbolism is a contract. Because as I'm showing you, men have waged hidden, untold, and forgotten wars against women for their own dominion and order of rule of the earth since the beginning of recorded time in 31 BC. The beginning of recorded time is not the actual beginning. It's just the time that man started recording time because this is the time that man started warring against women. These domes are a replica of mandalas, and mandalas are matriarchal maps, displaying a magnetic infinite earth with habitants on the outside of the center, or the circle. The center inside the circle is where the six continents of men are, and in this matriarchal map was also highlighted this Antarctica's 360 ice wall. The center is demagnetized because man ruled with demagnetized modules. Nothing in our reality is magnetic, yet the earth is magnetic. And outside this circle, the habitants are ascending because they are magnetic. The centers of the earth has always been taught to us to be what we know of as heaven. And that's why the word heaven is associated and affiliated with this literary and symbolism. Genesis 1:6-8, God said, "Let there be a dome in the middle of the water. Let it divide the water from the water." God made the dome and divided the water under the dome from the water above the dome. That is how it was done. And God called the dome sky. This is iconography symbolism, highlighting that we are in the center, and you can see people being highlighted on the most outer circumferences. The importance of symbolic expression and of the pictorial presentation of religious facts and ideas has been confirmed, widened, and deepened both by the study of local cultures and religions and by the comparative study of world religions. Systems of symbols and pictures that are constituted in a certain ordered and determined relationship to the form, content, and intention of presentation are believed to be amongst the most important means of knowing and expressing religious facts. Such systems also contribute to the maintenance and strengthening of the relationships between human beings and the realm of the sacred or holy, the transcendent spiritual dimension. The symbol is, in effect, the mediator, presence, and real or intelligible. Alright, read with me. Different forms and levels of the experience of and relationship to reality, both sacred and profane, are linked with the concepts of symbol, sign, and picture. The function of the symbol is to represent a reality or a truth and to reveal them either instantaneously or gradually. The relationship of the symbol to a reality is conceived of as somewhat direct and intimate, and also as somewhat indirect and distant. The symbol is sometimes identified with the reality that it represents and sometimes regarded as a pure transparency of it. As a sign or a picture, the representation of the experience of a relationship to reality has either a denotative or a truly representative meaning. The doctrine of the Eucharistic sacramental presence of Christ and the teaching of Eastern Orthodox Roman Catholic Church Says furthermore, a symbol in its intermediary function has aspects of epistemology, a theory of knowing, and ontology, a theory of being. As a means of knowledge, it operates in a characteristically dialectical process of veiling and revealing truths. It fulfills an interpretative function in the process of effectively apprehending and comprehending religious experience. In doing so, the word or symbol, with its meaning, contextual use, relationship to other types of religious expressions, and interpretative connection with the various forms of signs, pictures, gestures, and sounds, plays an important part of the process of symbolic perception and reflection. Although the symbol is an abbreviation as a means of communication, it brings about through its connection with the object of religion and with the world of the transcendent, not only an interpretative knowledge of the world and a conferral comparison of meaning to life, but also a means of access to the sacred reality. Now, what the hell do you mean by that? Let's read and see. Sacred places are often pictorial reflections of the universe and its design and partake of its holiness. The dome of Christian churches are symbols of heaven. Now, what I'm expressing and exposing is that church domes contains the hidden and true cartography of the earth that displays Antarctica's 360 ice wall with habitants beyond that ice wall.